you, everybody, and welcome to Flashpoint Healthcare Solutions Radio Show with Steve Glick. I'm Gary Byron. Steve, how are you this morning?
I am great this morning.
Yeah, you was going to say you got this like vigor in you. You're full of energy this morning.
Well, obviously the holidays mean a lot. Family, everything else. I wish everyone a happy holiday.
Yeah. How was your Christmas, by the way? Was it nice?
It was nice. I had an opportunity. My daughter has 3 kids, and we only spent time driving to their home and had a wonderful luncheon. And again, nothing better than being with your grandchildren.
Oh, I would imagine. If you're with loved ones, especially this time of year,
yes.
There's nothing better than that. We got a great guest this morning. You want to tell us a little bit about him?
Well, again, a very special guest who I respect, who is taking a manufacturing business, into the state of Connecticut, and made it a very successful event. And the key thing is he's dedicated to his community. His business is in the Torrington area, and he gives of his time and effort to support his local Chamber of Commerce.
Well, then let's bring him in. President and CEO of Sites, Evan Burns. Evan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am not doing too bad. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully you had a nice holiday season as well.
Absolutely.
Well, good. Hey, so tell me a little bit about you and your company.
Okay. Thanks very much. My name's Evan Burns again, and I've been running Sites, which is what was a family-owned manufacturing business since the 60s, where we turned 70 years this past year.
Wow.
And I've been with the company for 4 years. I actually grew up in Connecticut and went to University of Connecticut way back when, and moved away, moved back, moved away, moved back, and I've been in the greater Hartford area since 1999 and have been with Sites since 2016. So I grew up in engineering and product development in a bunch of different companies, and as I progressed through my career, I had desire to give back, to take the things that I've learned and have the opportunity to help support manufacturing businesses in Connecticut to become more competitive and to thrive and grow.
In going back, I know the Sites family actually started the company, though, right?
Yep, it was a family-owned business through several generations, I think 3 generations, and like I said, turned 70 this past year in 2019, and was bought by private equity. The family sold it to private equity in 2011. So we're going through kind of a transition from being family-owned and growing that way to growing in a much more significant way with large global customers and really having a lot of fun with the organization to teach new things and to grow and improve our technical capabilities and grow our people. So it's been a lot of fun.
In manufacturing, what do you? First of all, what does Sites manufacture, and how did you yourself? What attracted you to this manufacturer?
Okay, so Sites, the family started it as a mold making business for injection molding, so making plastic parts, and went from making molds to molding parts, and there was really 3 horizons that the company went through. The first one was a strong relationship with Xerox and making lots of plastic parts that would go on printers and the like for a wide range of applications, and the family company really grew with Xerox and got engaged very early with some Xerox type practices like quality circles and total quality management. So very progressive for a family business. And then progressing through the 90s into the 2000s, the company shifted to, as a lot of that business went offshore, frankly, the business shifted towards ATMs, so bank machines, money machines, and make hundreds of parts that go into ATMs really around the world. And the combination of the Xerox background and the ATM background resulted in us having a pretty unique market niche where we do lots of very, very high precision parts that can be relied on for metering and dispensing of critical things. So you can't miscount the amount of money that goes in or out of an ATM, or the number of pages that are printed. And so we do a lot of gas metering, we do a lot of pumping. So it's a lot of precision parts that have critical tolerances to them and go into critical applications. We mold parts, and then we also have an assembly business. So about half of our business is assembled items that we'll mold and then buy components and put on together. Through the years, then we've shifted now much more towards medical markets. So more than 50% of our sales now go into life-saving medical products in hospitals and other healthcare environments. And so that's kind of the future for us is much more medical. And interestingly, the next wave for us looks to be like it's around surgical robotics and laparoscopic surgery, because there's a need there for precision gears and pulleys and drive components. So I'm pleased with how the company has progressed through kind of in changes in industrial demand.
Wow. Oh my! Especially getting into medical. I mean, that's from ATMs to into medical, really diversifying your manufacturing. I've heard a lot about starting with why as a way to engage your employees. I understand you have incorporated this idea at sites. Can you share some of how that worked?
Sure. So when I came in 2016, we were the ownership group was looking to, again, how do we grow more aggressively, and how do we take the business from being a family business to something that can serve global customers. Our customers are large, very, very large manufacturers, usually with number one or number two market share in the markets they serve. And I didn't mention before, but we have another unique aspect, which is in addition to the about 150 people that we have working here in Northwest Connecticut, the family back in 2000 started an operation in China, and it's a wholly owned facility, so it's ours. And we have about 80 people who are about 3 hours northwest of Shanghai. And so we end up with some customers that are very, very much like to work with us in Connecticut in the time zone that we're in, and with their development teams in the Northeast or in North America. And then if they've got supply chains in anywhere around in the world, they'll either buy from here or they'll buy from our facility in China. So it was important to the owners that we were able to make our management more globally professional. I guess I'll put it that way. And so when I came in 2016, I looked at how do I kind of blend my personal objectives to improve manufacturing competitiveness in Connecticut and to teach and train people on all the things that I'd been exposed to through the years, and also be able to serve our global customers. And we adopted a program called Quality of Leadership that is just a phenomenal program. Even though it says quality, it's really more about, it's really a leadership program. And interestingly, it was developed almost 30 years ago in Torrington when the Torrington Company was here, which was a very, very large manufacturer in the area up here. And the heads of the Ingersoll Rand, who owned the Torrington Company, developed this program. And there's a gentleman, Mike Bagley, who developed it 30 years ago, and has personally taught over 8,000 people around the world in this Quality of Leadership program. So we have about 150 people here, and almost everybody here has been through the program. It's a 2-day program, and in that, there's a lot of discussion around exemplary leadership practices and employee engagement, and this concept of Start With Why, which is a book by Simon Sinek. And the point of that is, when you're trying to drive change and trying to engage your people in making the business better, you have to make it personal. You have to make it something it's not just, hey, I want to make parts for my customer, I want to make money for my owners. It's not about that. It's about something more basic. And so we really put a lot of focus on that, and the leadership team and I developed really in 2017. So it was almost 4 years ago now, 3 years ago. We developed what we call the drive train, which is our way to communicate the why we exist, which is the why, and then our values and what our customers value of us, and then things that we're working on to succeed. And so our why that we came up with is, and has really worked quite well, is it's to provide our associates with opportunities to enable their personal, professional, and economic security and growth. So the story that we say is, and we use this with customers, we use this with our owners and any of our business partners, and we use it when we interview candidates. We say, the reason we're here is because we've got people in Northwest Connecticut who want good manufacturing jobs.
Wow, that's just
that's our job, is to make this work for you. So what do you need in terms of personal growth or professional growth, or what can we do to ensure your economic security? And so that why has really helped quite a bit to connect the dots for our associates in terms of the changes that we're trying to make in the business, and whether it be around accountability or financial improvement or cost control or training or whatever, it's around making this a better place for them.
I'm incredibly impressed just listening to you. Seriously, I mean, it really sounds like culture is important to you and your company. I mean, anything more you can tell me, I'm happy to absorb. Especially with this leadership program that you have.
Oh, thanks. Culture has been a big piece of what we've done. We've invested a lot in the business. We've put a lot of money into the business to improve our equipment and to improve the building and the surroundings that we're in. But a lot of our focus has been on the culture here, and a couple other whys that lead into the culture. So our main why is about our associates, but our second why is about to be a caring community for the people inside the four walls here and also around us. During COVID, kind of in the early parts of COVID, we did a program where I think we did it for 8 weeks. We bought lunches from restaurants in the local area, and we split a bunch through several different restaurants, and then we were able to provide lunches for our associates in the building, and we went through several cycles of that. And then we were putting money into the community to support the restaurants who are struggling. And then we did in-like contributions to the food bank and things like that to just support the community. It's really been nice. And another example as a caring community is we had one of our associates have a house fire, unfortunately, and both our associate and her children's family were displaced. And in 1 week, we raised $4,000 just inside our four walls of just people contributing to each other, which is just, this is mainly a factory, so these are people who aren't making a lot of money, and for people to dig deep for each other is great. And then our last why is to save lives. As I said, more than half of our product is medical product, and the most significant is a product that goes into hospitals that is very much of a life-saving product, and then the surgical robotic work that we do as well. So those three whys, for our associates, for those around us, and to save lives, have really been foundational for us to attract new associates, to explain to people why we're doing the things that we're doing, and has been very effective.
How could it not, though? Right? I mean, you're talking about giving back to the community and being involved in your community, but you're really involved in the betterment of your employees, the people who are within the very four walls that you are working in. Employee development really seems to be at the forefront.
It is, and we're really proud of some of the things we've done there. And this has been very much in partnership with some of the state programs and the community college up here. And we've really focused, and it's very consistent with our personal, professional, economic security and growth objective, is who can we promote internally to put into some new roles. There's probably 6 people that we've put into some kind of a next step role. In one case, we have a great woman in our workforce who was working in our assembly operations, and now she's in supply chain and she's a buyer. And that's just one example, but there's several others that we've done. We've gotten, I think, 5 or 6 people to go back to school with, again, support from Kathy Watt and her regional Workforce Investment Board and the community college up here. We've got apprentice programs going with Michelle Caffey at the state. So it's really been, kind of the most rewarding part of it is to be able to look back and say, hey, here's some specific people that we've been able to impact. We have one guy who came in as a operator, and we found out that he's got an HVAC background. So he's now in maintenance, and he's working on our air conditioning systems. And
my goodness.
we found another guy who's working third shift who has a business degree. So we're moving him into a different role to give him some growth and give him some better opportunities. Interesting story with him too is he was working two jobs. We found out that he was working. He works on third shift, so we found out he was working a second shift job, a third shift job, going home and sleeping for 4 hours, and then starting all over again. And so we're starting after the first of the year with him, where he's just going to be working longer hours here. He's going to not work two jobs. He's just going to work one job here, and we're giving him career growth, and that's going to make ends meet for him. So,
oh my goodness,
yeah,
how does he do that?
These things are just fun. I mean, this is what it's all about.
So, folks, you're listening to Flashpoint Healthcare Solutions radio show with Steve Glick, administrator for Chamber Insurance Trust. I'm Gary Byron. Our special guest today is Evan Burns, president and CEO of Sites. Sites Manufacturing. You can check out their website at www.sitesllc.com. Let me spell that for you, too. It's SEITZ .com. I mean, finally, Evan, what are some of the important issues for manufacturers in Connecticut?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think growth is just absolutely essential, and my career has always been around growth. Whether I worked for GE, I worked for Black & Decker, I worked for Ingersoll Rand, and Danaher, which is another Connecticut, has a Connecticut operations, and you have to grow. If you don't grow, you're not going to be able to support your associates. You're not going to be able to support your customers. So having a mindset that is, we're going to make this work, and we're going to grow, and we're going to grow in Connecticut, I think has to be just fundamental, and that's what we're trying to drive here. So growing sales so that we can grow jobs, so that we can essentially reverse the net migration from the state. I'm not anywhere near a position to solve the kinds of problems or the kinds of challenges that we have, but absolutely, if we don't bring more people to the state, it's not going to move us in the right direction. So there's kind of a fundamental element for me is how do we grow, which means we got to serve customers better, we have to find new customers, and we have to win new business, and then be able to do that productively here so that we're growing in a financially acceptable way, but net bringing people into the state. And we've got a couple, we're here in Northwest Connecticut. We hired a guy from the Midwest who moved his family here and was very excited to come here. We've got a young gentleman who's had already moved to Connecticut for another job, but we picked him up, and he's from California. And I just met with him this week and talked about how do you feel about living here, and he says that he loves it. He just loves the rural nature of Northwest Connecticut and being able to be outdoors, but also being just a couple hours away from great things like New York City and Boston and skiing and the water. So I think being able to let people understand that Connecticut offers good jobs in a good setting is just an important message that we've got to work out.
And one more question for you, and I hope you don't mind it, is Connecticut used to be a manufacturing state. We were dominant in manufacturing, and it seems like lately we're trying to do there. I get back into it. I know there's some great apprentice programs that you've already mentioned the state has. Are there enough jobs for the manufacturing work? And I guess maybe a better question is there enough manufacturing in Connecticut? So is there room to grow there, and do we even have the manpower within our state for it?
Well, this is kind of my opinion more so than anything else, but absolutely there's jobs in manufacturing. We're always looking for people. It might only be one or two, it might be 5 or 6, but we are always looking for good people. And my peers and kind of my manufacturing leadership network in the area is the same. We're always looking for good people to come into manufacturing. I think that absolutely manufacturing as an industry has declined in Connecticut. I believe that needs to reverse. It's challenging due to the cost structure here. It's New England's not an inexpensive place to be, and we're competing with manufacturers in all parts of the country with much lower minimum wages. We're competing with manufacturers in Mexico and Asia. Mm-hmm. So it's a competitive world there, and you can't just shutter your windows and or stick your head in the ground and hope things will get better. You have to do something different. You have to be competitive. You have to deliver value. You have to innovate, and absolutely there's a strong focus from the state to support manufacturing. There's a new kind of a manufacturing leadership structure within the state. Kathy Awad, who's doing a great job with the Northwest Regional Workforce Investment Board, is just driving a tremendous number of programs. She just called me this week about next generation sector partnerships, and they're going to focus on healthcare and manufacturing. And so it's that's to me very exciting. And what she just kicked off, I got an email this morning, is to pull together some manufacturing and government support people to focus on next generation requirements for healthcare and manufacturing sectors.
Well,
I think it's great.
It is great news, and it's also encouraging as well. So
absolutely.
Steve, did you want to please chime in here?
I am encouraged. First, Evan, thank you for your time. But I was at a seminar with Evan on the future of Connecticut in economic situations. He truly represents as a business hero in our community. What he has done. What his community has done is examples that we can't put Connecticut down. We need to bring Connecticut up. And I work with the Chambers of Commerce, which is totally committed. And I know Evan spends his time, he's on the board of the Northwest Chamber. And it's just wonderful to see people like him. We need more people to be praised. We need to bring more people on your radio show, our radio show, to let people know there's good people out there that want Connecticut to grow and build an economic future.
It sounds like you really value Evan.
Absolutely.
In your relationship with
him. He and I don't really know each other that well, but I just sense of what he represents, his charisma, his image, his enthusiasm.
Yeah.
With being on this TV event that we were both part of, I gained a lot of respect for him. That's why I invited him on the show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, Evan, when you hear that, I mean, that's pretty nice.
Very gratifying. Thank you.
It is. And thank you for being with us, Evan, as well. I know you put off some things so that you can spend some time with us on the radio this morning. So I really appreciate your time with us this morning, Evan.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
You got it, my friend. So let's go back, Steve. We're talking about manufacturing in the state of Connecticut, and you are interacting with chambers of commerce all over our state. What are you hearing in the grapevine when it comes to manufacturing and the growth of the manufacturing industry here in Connecticut?
Here's the interesting thing. In this seminar that I participated in, they were all representation of studies that were done across the state. Of all places, I mean, I would think the major metropolitan areas like Hartford, New Haven,
right, you
would hear the zinging and success and growing of that.
But they're in Litchfield County. I mean, that's not exactly the manufacturing, from mecca of the state or of the country.
Well, that's the enigma of the transition. Northwest Connecticut, the Torrington area, from a point of view of people working, activities, they rank number one in the state of Connecticut when you measure all the things that need to be measured on productivity and success. It's amazing to me where all the efforts in New Haven, Hartford, there's just too many open spaces, too many other issues that have not been resolved. And the key thing is we need to resolve them. And through cooperation, working with businesses, working together, things that we try to do, educate them on healthcare, saving money. We save 20, 30, 40% in their premiums for healthcare so they can invest it back in their business. That's what it's all about. We all have to work together.
It just goes to show you that you don't need to be in Hartford. You don't need to be in New Haven, or New York or Boston for that matter. You can be in a rural area in the hills of northwestern Connecticut in Litchfield County, very picturesque Litchfield County,
Yeah.
by the way.
And that's the whole thing. The environment that people live and work there
But
is just being a New Haven person. My life in Hartford, living in New York City for part of my training, amazing.
Steve, the other thing I took away from that, Evan has really put the employee and community outreach at center,
That's right.
in giving back and really looking out for development and leadership. That's something that you don't hear not only from manufacturing or plant supervisors or management, but even corporate America. They seem tight knit and closed off to inviting anyone for fear, for a replacement, or for whatever their reason is. A lot of places aren't as open, to that.
And again, remember the surge of technology and other things.
Yeah.
The problem with it's very efficient for finding the numbers and all the other things, but personal relationships are really gone away.
Sadly, yeah.
Because of that.
You're absolutely right.
But bringing some things like Evan has done for his company here should be considered by some companies. Make people feel that they're part of a resource, a home.
Well, he's exemplary. He can really write a blueprint when it comes to his success, and some things can be applied and maybe customized. As far as that, implementing leadership and hierarchy and how they really give back to their community. I want to thank our guest, Evan Burns, President and CEO of Sites Manufacturing. I'll give you their website once again. It's www.sitesllc.com. And Sites is spelled SEITZ. So it's www.seitzllc.com. Also, I want to, of course, thank my partner in crime over here, Steve Glick, Administrator for Chamber Insurance Trust. He's easy to get a hold of as well. Website is www.citrust. Again, it's citrust.com. He's also got a toll-free number. Please write this number down, 800-953-4467. Once again, 800-953-4467. For Steve Glick, thanks so much for listening, for being a part of the Flashpoint Healthcare Solutions radio show. I'm Gary Byron. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. So long. And we're out. Evan.
Okay.
See, that was painless. That went